everyone, it's Mrs. Choi. I hope that you are safe and cozy at home. As you can see, I'm here in my house, as we have been for the last 2 weeks. And today I thought I would share with you something that my family and I have started doing since we've been home from school. So one of the things that we've started is that we've started keeping journals, and we write in them every night after dinner. Now you might be wondering, what's a journal? Well, a journal is kind of like a book where you write in as often as you'd like. And the best part is that it's kind of just for yourself. And you might also be wondering, why are you keeping a journal? Well, let me tell you something. This year, I'm going to be 40 years old. And in all of the 40 years that I've been alive, nothing like this has ever happened before, where we couldn't go to school and we had to stay home and we had to isolate or stay to ourselves so that we can keep ourselves and others around us safe from a virus that's spreading all over the world. And I think and I hope that nothing like this will happen again while I'm alive. So we thought it would kind of be a neat idea to keep a journal that we write in every day to kind of keep track of how we're spending this time, because it's kind of a weird and strange time that's happening right now that they'll start writing about in history books. And we thought that if we kept these journals, then one day when this is past us, because it will be past us, it would be really cool to look back on our journals and read about how we spent this time, what we were thinking, what we were feeling, and maybe even one day when my kids are adults like I am, they could even share them with kids they might have and read to them and tell them about what this crazy time was like. So I thought I would show you what our journals are like and then give you a couple of tips on getting started if you'd like to start writing in a journal too. So this is my journal. And in my journal, I've been trying to write about what we're doing every day to kind of keep track of how we're spending these days. It's kind of hard to keep track of the days, and sometimes I'll wake up and I don't remember what day of the week it is, because without school and going to work, it's kind of hard to distinguish or keep track of one day from the next. So I've been writing a lot about what we've been doing, and I've also been writing a lot about how I've been feeling. I've been having some really big feelings about all of this that's going on, so I want to put that in my journal too. And we've also been doing a lot of doodling with Mo Willems and Jarrett Kozaska, who writes the Lunch Lady books. So we've kept those in here as well, so that's all in one place. This is Carson's journal. Carson is 10, and in Carson's journal, he's also been writing about what he's been doing every day, what his favorite parts of the day was, what was hard. He's been writing a lot about how bored he is, which is a very real feeling that he's having and that we're all having. And then here are some of his doodles as well. This one's Callie's. Callie is 6. She's a first grader. She's also been writing about what her day was like. She even includes sometimes little pictures of what we did. There are some of her doodles, things she's trying out, things that she's thinking about and feeling. If you've read books like Owl Diaries or Diary of a Wimpy Kid, you might already have an idea of what a journal could be like, because another way that it could sound is kind of like a personal narrative where you're telling what's going on in your life, bit by bit, day by day. So that's another idea for what your journal might sound like. If you don't have a blank notebook to get started in, one thing that you could do is just take some blank paper. You could even fold it in half like this. You have some half pages and staple it on the side. You might even just leave them blank and loose like this and keep them in a folder, and then you could put them all together when this time is done so that they're all together in one kind of book. And like I said, the best part of a journal is that it's really just for you. So you really get to decide, like you do in all your writing, what it's going to look like, what it's going to sound like, how often you're going to write in it. But if you'd like some tips on getting started, here are a couple things that you might think about putting in your journal. So when you're keeping a journal, some things that you might write about is you might write about your feelings. I know that on Monday, when they announced that we wouldn't be returning to school, I felt a lot like this guy. I was really sad. I cried a lot. I was texting with some of my friends, and I was really sad to know that we wouldn't be returning to school this year, that I wouldn't get to see you in the classrooms, and that we wouldn't be back in our buildings with all my friends. And so I was feeling really sad about that, and I made sure to write about that on Monday in my journal. Something else that you might write about in your journal is writing about what you did. So in our family, we've been writing about books we've been reading because we love to read. And we've also been writing a lot about the long walks that we're taking every day. So since we can't really go anywhere, we've been taking a lot of long walks every day around our neighborhood and kind of writing about the different paths that we're exploring and new things that we're finding with all this time that we have to take on these long, sometimes slow walks every day. And finally, another thing that you could write about is writing about like some of your hopes and dreams, like what you're hoping for when this time is done, or what you're wishing you were doing instead. A journal is a great place to keep some of those ideas too. So again, a journal can really be about whatever you want to put in there, but if you need some help getting started, here are some ideas for what you might write about in your journal. So as we continue to stay home, friends, one thing you might try is writing a journal and putting in there all the things that you're doing, that you might be feeling, that you might be thinking about. And one day when this is all behind us, and it will be behind us, it'll be really cool to go back into your journals and read about what this time was like. Okay, we miss you, and we hope you are doing well, and we do hope to see you soon.